How can you tell if the person in front of you is a great coach? Here's the surefire way to spot a bad coach. And it often says more about their need to feel helpful than your actual needs. How can you tell if the person in front of you is a great coach? There is one simple trick to find out, but I'll save that for the end of the video. I'm not going to list all the traits of a good or bad coach here, no. First, because I've already written a full article about that on my website. And second, because I'd much rather share with you the stories of 3 people who shaped my own understanding of coaching. They might not be internationally famous, no. Their trainings are mostly in French, and the ones I attended were in Belgium. But what really matters isn't their fame. What matters is what I learned from them. Not just idea, but real postures, attitude, and ways of being. So let's start with Max Meulemans. He's got a big frame and a strong presence. When he walks into a room, people go quiet instinctively. But that's not what impressed me most. What stood out to me was his gaze. When you speak to Max, wow, his gaze creates kind of safe space around you, bubble of calm, a zone of trust, where you feel completely free to say what's on your heart. That's rare. Even among close friends, I've never felt that level of warmth and safety. I don't know if it's a skill he developed or something he was born with, but it made a deep impression on me and still inspires me today. Is Dr. Jacques Fradin. I discovered him through a program of neurocognitive and behavioral approach, sort of a cross between neuroscience and practical psychology. He's a calm, steady presence. His workshops mix theory with personal reflection. But what really struck me was how he interacts with discomfort. You see, I have a slight hearing issue, so in training sessions, I tend to sit at the back and stare intensely at the speaker, partly to read lips. That kind of fixed stare, especially from the back of the room, can feel a little off. And most trainers either ignore it or get a bit thrown. But during the first break, Fradin came over to me and gently asked, "How are you doing?" No assumptions, no judgment, just genuine curiosity. That moment stuck with me. He didn't wait for signs of struggle. He leaned into uncertainty and did so with total openness. Now, that is coaching. It's not about being right, it's about being available, even when it's uncomfortable. And finally, Ilios Kotsou. I met Ilios during a mindfulness training, and now I admit I don't meditate as often as I'd like. But the experience was eye-opening nonetheless. What struck me about Ilios was his emotional intelligence. He wasn't just speaking to the group, he was tuning into the group, modulating his tone, reading the room, adjusting not just his words, but his entire presence. And what I remember most is this little phrase said with a smile and a spark in the eyes. Maybe it's easy for you, but for me, sitting cross-legged for 20 minutes was brutal. Of course, it was hard for all of us, but instead of stating the obvious, he connected through shared struggle with humor and humility. And that humility, that's what I carry with me now when I train others. Not pretending to be above the difficulty, but owning it. So, 3 people, 3 styles, 3 postures I try to embody in my own practice. But now, as promised, here's the surefire way to spot a bad coach. If after you share a personal or emotionally complex situation, something that's hard for you to move through, something that drains your energy or clothes your judgment. And the coach responds with, you should do this, or something like, if I were you, I just run. That's not coaching, that's rescuing. And it often says more about their need to feel helpful than your actual needs. A real coach doesn't offer quick fixes. They offer space for you to find your own clarity. Thanks for sticking around. If this resonates with you, I encourage you to read the full article on my website. And until next time, here's to the extraordinary people you'll meet along the way. And remember, boost the system.
Clock punch, soul punch, gonna make my own lunch. This ain't my final destination, just another step in my transformation. How my jump can't think.